Good day, students. Welcome back to my channel. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. For today's lesson, we have solving quadratic inequalities. Before we start the discussion, let's have this first. Rewrite the following quadratic inequalities into standard form. Number 1, 3x squared minus 7x is less than or equal to negative 2. The answer here is 3x squared minus 7x plus 2 is less than or equal to 0. We transpose negative 2 on the left side. Number 2, 2a squared is greater than negative a plus 3. So we transform negative a plus 3 on the left side. So it will become 2a squared plus a minus 3 is greater than 0. Number 3, f minus 1 times 2f minus 7 is less than or equal to 0. Simplifying this one, it will become 2f squared minus 9f plus 7 is less than or equal to 0. Number 4, 3y minus 2 is greater than negative 9y squared. We transform negative 9y squared to the left side, so it will become 9y squared plus 3y minus 2 is greater than 0. Number 5, 12b squared plus 5b is greater than or equal to 3. It will become 12b squared plus 5b minus 3 is greater than or equal to 0. We can now proceed with the discussion. Solve the quadratic inequalities and express the solution set using interval notation. Solve x squared plus 2x minus 8 is greater than or equal to 0. First step, turn inequality into an equation. Second step, find the solutions. And third step, make a number lines and check each solution and interval. So, the first step, we have x squared plus 2x minus 8. So, yung greater than equal sign, it will become an equal sign. So, equal to 0. So, for the solution of that, we have factoring. So, that is x plus 4 times x minus 2 equal to 0. Equate both to 0. So, x plus 4 is equal to 0. X minus 2 is equal to 0. So, our x here is negative 4 and positive 2. Let's do the number line. So, we have negative 4 and positive 2. Then, check each solution and interval. So, the negative 4 here and positive 2 is the boundary. So, substitute negative 4 in the given equation. So, it will become negative 4 squared plus 2 times negative 4 minus 8 is greater than or equal to 0. Negative 4 squared is 16. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. So, it will become 16 minus 8 is greater than or equal to 0. And simplifying that, we have 0 is greater than or equal to 0. And that is true because 0 is equal to 0. Next, if x is equal to 2, substitute 2 on the given equation. 2 squared plus 2 times 2 minus 8 is greater than or equal to 0. 2 squared is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. So that is 4 plus 4 minus 8 is greater than or equal to 0. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 minus 8 is 0. Then, 0 is greater than or equal to 0. That means that is true. Note that we will use closed circle if the boundaries are included or if that is true in the given equation. Otherwise, open circle if that is not included or if it is false in the given equation. Okay, since it is true, the negative 4 and positive 2 are both true, so we will use a closed circle. And then, we have here the values of negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, up to negative infinity. And then, inside the negative 4 and 2, the values are negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, and 1. And then, from 2 to positive infinity. So, let's try if x is negative 7. You can try any value with negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, up to negative infinity here. So, let's try negative 7. So, substitute negative 7 in the given equation. We have negative 7 squared plus 2 times negative 7 times negative 8 is greater than or equal to 0. Simplifying that, we have 49 minus 14 minus 8 is greater than or equal to 0. And 27 is greater than or equal to 0. So, that is true. Okay? So, meaning to say, negative 4 going to the infinity is a part of the solution of this equation. And then, let's try if x is 0. So, substitute. 0 squared plus 2 times 0 minus 8 is greater than or equal to 0. That is 0 plus 0 minus 8 is greater than or equal to 0. Negative 8 is greater than or equal to 0. So that is false because negative 8 is not greater than or equal to 0. That means this is not a part of the solution in this equation. And last, let's try 5. If x is 5, substitute 5 in the given equation. 5 squared plus 2 times 5 minus 8 is greater than or equal to 0. 5 squared, that is 25. 2 times 5, that is 10. So 25 plus 10 minus 8 is greater than or equal to 0. So we'll have 27 is greater than or equal to 0. So that means that is true. So from 2 going to positive infinity, all the solutions there are true. So for interval notation, take note of this one. Use a bracket to indicate that the boundaries is included in the interval. Since negative 4 and positive 2 are included here, so we will use bracket. A parenthesis to indicate if it's not true. Okay? So we have here negative infinity to negative 4, then 2 up to positive infinity. So let's have another example. P squared plus 7p plus 10 is less than 0. So turn into inequality equation. Find solution. Make a number line. So the first one, so equal sign na siya. P squared plus 7p plus 10 is equal to 0. Then factor out. We'll have p plus 5 times p plus 2 is equal to 0. Then equate to 0. So p plus 5 is equal to 0. P plus 2 is equal to 0. Find the value of p. Have p is equal to negative 5 and p is equal to negative 2. Let's make a number line here. So the boundaries are negative 5 and negative 2. Then we have the original equation. Substitute. Let's try if p is equal to negative 5. Negative 5 squared plus 7 times negative 5 plus 10 is less than 0. Negative 5 squared is 25. 7 times negative 5 is negative 35. So that is 25 minus 35 plus 10 is less than 0. Then that is 0 is less than 0 and that is false. Okay? So, going back, we use closed circle if the boundaries are included. Since this is not included kasi false siya, so we will use an open circle. Next, if p is equal to negative 2, let's try. Substitute negative 2 in the given equation. We'll have 4 minus 14 plus 10 is less than 0, and that is 0 less than 0. So that is also false. So we will use again in open circle. So let's try 3 points. So let's try here in the left side negative 10. Negative 10, substitute on the original equation, we'll have 100 minus 70 plus 10 is less than 0. So 40 is less than 0. So that is false again. Okay, meaning to say, negative 5 going to negative infinity is not a part of the solution. Let's try the middle one. Let's try negative 3. You can use negative 4 or negative 3. So, negative 3, substitute. We have 9 minus 21 plus 10 is less than 0. We'll have negative 2 is less than 0. So, that is true. Meaning to say, on the middle of negative 5 going to negative 2 are the part of the solution. Then, last, if x is equal to 1, substitute 1, we have 1 plus 7 plus 10 is less than 0. 18 is less than 0. That is also false. So, meaning to say, negative 2 going to positive infinity is not a part of the solution. So, the interval notation here, since negative 5 and negative 2 is not a part of the solution, we will use parentheses. So we have negative 5 and negative 2. So next example, x plus 4 times x minus 4 is greater than 0. Or it is also known as x squared minus 16 is greater than 0. So turn natin siya into equal sign. So x squared minus 16 is equal to 0. Then, factor out, we have x plus 4 times x minus 4 equal to 0. Equate both to 0. So we have x is equal to negative 4 and x is equal to positive 4. So that is our boundary. So let's try if x is equal to negative 4. Substitute. We have negative 4 squared minus 16 greater than 0. 16 minus 16 greater than 0. 0 is greater than 0. So that means that is false. So meaning negative 4 is not part of the solution. Next, if x is equal to 4, substitute 4 in the equation. 4 squared minus 16 greater than 0. 16 minus 16 is greater than 0. So we have 0 is greater than 0. That is also false. Meaning positive 4 is not a part of the solution. So let's put again points here. So let's just negative 5, 0, and 5. Let's have first on the left side, which is negative 5. Substitute. We have 25 minus 16 greater than 0. 9 is greater than 0. So that is true. Meaning to say, negative 5 going to negative infinity is a part of the solution. Next, if x is equal to 0, substitute. 0 squared minus 16 is greater than 0. We have 0 minus 16 is greater than 0. Negative 16 is greater than 0. So that is false. Meaning, on the middle of negative 4 going to 4 is not also a part of the solution. Last, if x is equal to 5, substitute 5. We have 5 squared minus 16 is greater than 0. 25 minus 16 is greater than 0. Then 9 is greater than 0. And it is true. Meaning to say, 5 going to positive infinity is a part of the solution. So, the interval notation here is negative infinity up to negative 4 and positive 4 to positive infinity. So, parenthesis because negative 4 and positive 4 is not included in the solution. Next, we have 2m squared plus 2m is less than or equal to 12. So, in standard form, we have 2m squared plus 2m minus 12 is less than or equal to 0. So, we have this equation. Palitan natin yung inequality sign into equal sign. Then, factor out, we have 2m minus 4 times m plus 3 is equal to 0. So, for the solution of that, we have 2m minus 4 is equal to 0. Then, we have m is equal to 2. On the other side, m plus 3 is equal to 0. So, we have m is equal to 3. So, the 2 points are negative 3 and positive 2. So, that's the boundaries. So, m is equal to negative 3. Substitute natin. So, we have 18 minus 6 minus 12 is less than or equal to 0. So, we have 0 is less than or equal to 0. And that is true. On the other side, so that is a closed circle. On the other side, m is equal to 2. Substitute. We'll have 8 plus 4 minus 12 is less than or equal to 0. Then we have 0 is less than or equal to 0. And that is also true. Meaning to say, we have a closed circle here because 2 is a part of the solution. So again, let's put a point here. We have negative 4, substitute, then 0, and then 3. Let's try negative 4. You can use any negative number which is negative 4, 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, up to negative infinity. So, I use here negative 4. Substitute natin. So, we have 32 minus 8 minus 12 is less than or equal to 0. Then, we have 12 is less than or equal to 0. And that is false. So, it will, going to the left or going to negative infinity is not a part of the solution. On the middle, let's try 0. So, we substitute 0 in the equation. We have 0 plus 0 minus 12 less than or equal to 0. The negative 12 is less than or equal to 0 and that is true. Meaning, starting on negative 3 going to positive 2 is a part of the solution. You can try also negative 2, negative 1, or positive 1. Okay, last we have if m is equal to 3, substitute 3 on the given equation. We have 18 plus 6 minus 12 is less than or equal to 0. So we have 12 is less than or equal to 0, and that is also false. Meaning to say, going to positive infinity is not a part of the solution. So for the interval notation of that, we have bracket negative 3, negative 2. We use bracket since negative 3 and positive 2 is a part of the solution. So always remember this. To solve for the interval notation of quadratic inequalities, the following steps should be followed. Step 1. Turn inequality into an equation. Step 2. Find solutions of the equation formed as it will serve as the boundary points. 3. Make a number lines and check each solution, then write it as interval notation. Note, use closed circle if the boundaries are included. Otherwise, use open circle if it is not included. Use a bracket to indicate that the boundaries is included in the interval and a parenthesis to indicate that it is not. I hope you learned today. Thank you for listening. God bless.